So again, meant to be a best of 5. Both players agreed to play best of 3. One player asked, the other player agreed. It's fine for me because I have an appointment in about 35 minutes. So that's what we will do. Top right-hand side, Classic will open this best of 3 as our blue Protoss play here on Data C. And the bottom left-hand side, our red Zerg from Kaiser Gaming is Reynor. Alright guys, here we go. The action begins right now. Let's see who gets through to the quarterfinals. They are played tomorrow, remember. Max Pax and Q advanced from Group A. We've had Solar and Nightmare from Group B. Out of Group C, we saw the double Terran advance, Bjorn and Kelazur. And now Clem already advanced out of Group D. Will it be Reynor or Classic to join him? That's what we're finding out right about now. As we get into this best of 3 series, guys. Away we go into this match as our probe comes scouting up into this main mineral line. We get that underway. Man, I was just selling out about right. I said there's a bunch of people that have hit level 5, I think. Let's see how many it dings up. 1, 56. Just the one? Nope, there's another. I'll just ding for a couple of moments, guys. Thank you again for downloading and checking out the game and getting to level 5, and I really appreciate the support. Nexus goes down, gateway at the front, getting set up. As we do have our spawning pool into the main base. Obviously, these two played earlier, and Reynor fell victim to some adepts, and he fell victim to the longer kind of Stargate, well, Sky Toss game. The longer game, I really feel like he had better control of, but he, yeah, just some later game fights didn't quite go his way. I think, something he'll probably look at and probably be able to fix in a rematch here, so that does make it quite exciting. That was on Data C as well. I mean, Classic really struggled to get additional bases down, so that, like I say, definitely went a long way to helping there. As we do see our probe. Going to be moving out onto the map. And the Adept is going to be chrono boosting out of the gateway on the front as well, so just getting that up and running. A couple of drones, couple of queens will continue to produce here for now. Just bringing that out, and the Stargate building on the side of Classic. So bringing this all up into action. Nexus on the way from Classic in the natural. Finishing up, getting some probes reducing. The game is very standard. Intrigued to see what sort of style Reynor plays. Are we going to see that melee upgrade? Are we going to see directly to roaches? As you saw, Reynor have a bit of an up and down series against Nice. The first game he lost and didn't look so hot. And I mean, the first game he had a bad start, but the second game he wasn't looking great in either. And then he completely turned it around and was able to win out. And that was actually kind of crazy. So after that, he looked very, very good again. So kind of intrigued as to how this continues as we have our Oracle coming up. Our Warp Gate coming through and just progressing for the moment. In this game number 1, like I say, waiting to see just this Oracle coming out, all of that coming through in the early moments. A single link comes up the left side. Again, 5 more drones producing, a couple of queens on the way. Going to be seeing the Overlord here is going to be shot down. Overlord will die, so Overlord is going to fall. That Overlord going down. We've got a couple queens in the main base. A few drones are going to move from the main base to the natural. I'm just going to be seeing the queen. A couple of queens, actually, on the way out now from Reynor. A couple of queens, a couple of spore crawlers, a few drones. All of this being produced at the moment here. 4 drones actually on the way at the moment as see a couple of adepts built on the side of Classic. Twilight and Forge on the follow-up here from Classic, so going to go double Oracle into that probably Blink setup. And still really waiting on what Reynor's going to do. I mean, he has got nothing so far bar drones, a few lings, and some queens. His adepts will commit. Queens are here to defend, so far the defense has been very solid from Reynor, not leaving any openings. Has not been losing anything at all. He lost 2 lings and an Overlord. The Overlord unavoidable across the map. A couple of lings absolutely fine to lose at this point. And again, good defense here as well. Pulls away, loses 1 drone, will lose a few lings now as he fights the adepts. And he is going to kill the adepts, so this is a trade he's happy to take. 2 drones went down. but you get rid of all 3 Adepts, and the Oracles have been pushed away at the same time, one of them very low on HP, so Classic unable to really do too much there. As that charge starts, our +1 attack begins. Just going to see the Robo Facility and the Templar Archives continuing to produce at the moment. And Classic as well, so bringing a lot of that up and online. Charge on the +1 coming in. I'm just going to see the couple of Assimilators going to come down across the sides. As these Lings are going to sneak into this mineral line for a run by. Oracles will have to activate defensively. Oh, he actually activated one and Reynor got away without taking a shot off that Oracle, which is obviously really nice if you're the Zerg. Oracle wasting energy. Sign me up for that. Absolutely any day of the week. From the center, a bit of damage being done. As a few Lings get across into this mineral line, our Oracles are there to again fight the Lings. Push this back just slightly. I'm just going to be seeing the Spire now producing. So Reynor opting to go for that Spire quickly, and again, if it doesn't get seen, then obviously you can get into those meters. We saw that be very effective for him against Nice. That's one of the ways he won a game very convincingly on Tropical Sacrifice. It's definitely one thing we can watch out for. As our Observer comes up, a couple High Templar warping in. I'm setting up, and again, charging +1 coming through. Robo Bay about to come online, and 4 additional gateways also about to complete. We've seen this creep spread being denied in the center, so picking up a lot of this. Yeah, just denying some of this creep, taking a lot of that off. Clearing this out a little bit as we do see the units of Classic pulling back through the middle of the map. Zealotin and Archon up to the top side, and the Warp Prism trying to produce out that Robo Facility. We do have the +1 attack upgrade still building on the side of Classic, so again, getting that up and running, but it is a question of what about this Spire? It's finished. 8 meters or so can build right away. He's going to build 7 and a few roaches. Yeah, it only takes a few meters to start hitting those mineral lines, and right now it's enough Roach Queen and Ascended to push this army away as well, so no love found here for Classic. He starts up a Stargate, so that's Stargate number 2, but is that intending to make Phoenix, or what exactly is his plan? He's not making Phoenix. I feel like this is a Stargate 2, but for what? I mean, the preparation in case of meters? So he can make double Phoenix when he knows it's meters for sure, I guess? It's obviously not a fleet beacon, otherwise we would have been talking about maybe seeing carriers and so on. Fears are going to come in for the Prism straight away, so now you know, and now immediately the first Phoenix can begin. Reynor is just going to mass roaches behind this again. I explained this in the earlier series. The idea right now... the idea right now is to be seeing, as a lot of roaches get set up, the idea right now is to be seeing the Vitas do a bit of harass, force a big reaction from the Protoss, and then to swarm with the ground army. And that combination of meters dealing some damage and the Protoss overreacting to the meters allows this ground army to do a lot. Now this is just roaches, as that's a disruptor shot that Reynor splits from last second. That could have been huge. And Archons and Azels continue to set up. That's a good stasis ward. And he dropped a couple of warning vials. Reynor's not quite breaking through here just yet. The Phoenix are chasing down pretty much every meter, so they didn't do a lot. And Reynor starts to realize that just roaches ain't going to bust through this at all, so he's going to go Melee upgrade and a Baneling Nest. He's going to start trying to switch out of this, but yeah, this has not been successful. The meters were dealt with. The Roach Ravage has been stopped. This entire attack for the moment is not going anywhere. The Archons get through, picking off a Roach for the moment. Ravage again lifted up by the Phoenix. Just going to be seeing the Queens coming through, trying to see what's going on. Ravage is trying to push forward again. Reynor trying to keep the pressure up. Now Classic says, okay, fleet beacon time. Third Stargate as well. Time for me to start moving into my potential carrier production here, and he would love to get there. We know that much, of course. Seen that before. All the carriers continuing up for the moment, just getting that ready to rumble. That's going to be seeing this army of Classic looking really strong on the ground with carriers. But I mean, this army alone looks very strong. Never mind the fact he's got carriers on the way behind this. Reynor is really not in a pretty position right now. Has to dart back. He's going to start building some mutas again. I think Reynor is in a ton of trouble here in this game number 1, guys. He is not looking too pretty at all as these Archons continuing through. Roach is taking a lot of damage and just going to see the couple Oracles activating, getting rid of a Queen. The Roach is being picked off as well. It's just getting a lot done for the moment here. Another Disruptor shot firing through. And Stalker Disruptor Archon turning back around as well. Just going to get these carriers produced and going to rally out with the rest of the carriers. And it's going to be seen Archons, the batteries, the just cannons, all of this just continuing up. As the army from Reynor sits on the front lines. A few Mutalisks down on the bottom. That's a lot of mutas. I mean, he's been banking these up. This is his play. This is his plan to overwhelm with mutas, catch Classic off guard. That's his play to get back in this game. He knows he's behind. He has to do something crazy. He has to do something unexpected, and that's exactly what he's going to go for. Just taking some shots. It's going to be seeing the mutas coming through. Here we go as the probes will start to drop down. Oh, the new carriers just spawned into the Mutalisks. Oh, that's devastating. Whoa, oh my god, what horrible timing for Classic. 3 new carriers dead instantly. Dead, literally dead on arrival. That's the definition. Look it up in the dictionary. You'll see a picture of that moment in the game. Wow, I mean, the Stargate's all there too, so if the Mutas can take those down, no Phoenix will come online. How much trouble is Classic in here? As Reynor could knock down a pylon, maybe that was powering that Stargate as well. I was just wondering what more you could do. He did launch an attack on the top side at the same time, losing a few drones to this Prism, as he is now going to pull it back a little bit, though. Mutas gathering back into the center once again. And we just dive back through. A couple of batteries going down, and Reynor, with the Mutalisk, is going to find himself a carrier again. Oh, no. He's, I mean, this is just crazy amounts of damage from these Mutalisks. They want to dive the Phoenix, try and stop that count from getting too high. You've got a lot of mutas, so it's a long time until Classic has enough to really stop these mutas. All 4 new Stargates in the back of the Natural. That's a target for sure for Reynor. As he's not breaking through on the front lines, he's got a lot of money as well, by the way, Reynor does. His issue is going to be that he doesn't really have an army to fight his opponent's army for a while, especially with the mutas. But he's getting to the point where he might be able to kind of get there. Oh god, that was not pretty. The Stasis Ward's finishing just on time. I want to see that Disruptor shot, but Observer wanted to look at the mutas instead, so... yeah, well... an interesting couple of moments. What does Reynor build with his reproduction? Like, he's about to have a bunch more supply coming up and available in a moment. He's got loads of money to spend. He's actually going to be lava starved. And he is going to get so many probes. This entire mineral line busted. 34 dead workers, and he's actually going to put Classic on only 34 remaining workers, so he just killed half the economy. It's obviously a pretty good place to be, as the Phoenix will chase down these mutas, though. He's now going to start building Corruptors. He needs something to spend. Well, he needs lava, first of all, but the Corruptors are probably a very good choice against what is now a high Phoenix count and the carriers. So I think Reynor's putting himself into definitely one of the better positions he could be in for dealing with this. I like that part of it then. So yeah, Phoenix continuing back down on the bottom and just going to be seeing everything else joining together. Here we go. Phoenix, big push from Classic. This is the issue for Reynor. He needs to still fight this army at some point. He's going to continue to counterattack and put Classic all in, but you still need to kill this army. At some stage, that is an absolute must. Is he going to be able to try to relocate stack defenses, spine crawlers? There's not a lot of units in the sky, so I wonder if the Corruptors are even a little bit overkill for what is just 2 carriers and a mothership. I mean, the Phoenix as well, but the ground army is a massive problem right now. Moving forward here, does Classic have enough to end this game on this one attack? He doesn't have the economy to keep on going. He's definitely... I mean, if he kills enough bases, he could recall home onto 3 bases of his own. I just don't see why not fight right now. I mean, waiting feels like you give Reynor more time to prep. Your army as it stands is actually really freaking good, all things considered. First Disruptor shots fight. I mean, this is a chaotic fight. Stuff going on everywhere. Reynor tries to swarm in, but Classic has these Archons in the front line, the Stalkers in the back. Yes, the carriers have gone down, but now the Corruptors have no target. Well, maybe a Prism or an Oracle, but just not enough at all. GG's. Classic wins game 1 in the best of 3. Inside our Blue Protoss player, this is Classic. And he is up 1, looking to beat Reynor for the second time today to try and lock in his quarter-final slot. Top left-hand side, our red Zerg player from Kaiser Gaming is Reynor. Spawning pool going down. 12 pool opening. Wow, and he already lost with the 12 pool. A little attempted spine crawler rush earlier today against Knights and Classic Scouts. So you will have info on this pretty quickly. See if this can work out. There's one drone trying to sneak out, but that's not for a hatchery. Well, it probably is, but further down the line. Obviously, it's not going to build a hatch over here. There's no way you ever want to build a hatch over there. It's going to... I was wondering if it was going to go across the map, but... Classic now is going to just check into the main base, and lo and behold, it's a spawning pool! Well, Classic has the scout info here on Cosmic Sapphire. Potential to defend this and put himself very far ahead is... Oh, Classic maybe could have pylon blocked the natural still. What's he going to do back at home? He puts a second pylon down straight away. That means he's probably just going to build a cyber core and just get the zealot out to wall. And the second pylon's just to make sure... the second pylon's very interesting, right? I mean, it's just to keep him on supply block, to put it right at the wall off. I guess just wants to make sure he does not get busted down here and he can maintain power. I just don't think that first pylon should ever be in trouble with the way that he's getting set up to defend. This is only a 2-building wall. And with the zealot popping out, that will complete the wall off and basically just make this an outward fight. Feelings begin to nibble. Cybercore taking some damage. A few probes will pull forward and help to deflect this. Our second zealot on the way up. Do with a chrono boost on that as he starts the Nexus immediately as well. So Classic not even delaying there. Reynor droning up, but this is going to be a slight lead for Classic, and I'm interested to see what Classic wants to do with it. See if he gets aggressive at all. Let's see. I mean, this kind of invites you to perhaps just drop down a Twilight and play a Glaives off of a Zerg that's playing off a worse economy than usual. You could also, I mean, there's nothing to stop you just playing the Stargate off of a lead as well, right? So you really do just have, you know, very open options to you there. The choices are really very easily available to you. Jumping Crack Base, thank you so much. 26-month resub as this game 2 gets figured out a little bit. Really interested, like I said, to see what Classic's build is, and he is going to go Stargate again. So straight directly into that Stargate. Get that set up right away now. A couple of Zealots will go after the hatchery here. So just going to be able to pick away at that hatchery, taking some shots. Just going to be seeing the couple of Zealots and the Adept able to get a cancel. That's huge, man. Getting a cancel on this third base, slowing Reynor down. I mean, you've got those units anyways because you were forced to build them to defend the 12 pool, and now you get a cancel off the back of them. Talk about finding value. He's lost the drone, though. He was trying to catch the drone. Speed coming up, a couple of drones and a couple of queens continue to come on through as our lings make their way down the left-hand side. Nexus drops just on the front, get that third base ready. Oracle production continuing as well. A few Adepts already making their way out across to the top of the map here, so getting that established. And let's see if we can put some pressure on. As like I say, Reynor's been a little bit lower on the drone count throughout, as you know, than he would have liked to be. The Lings show up though, and his Classic going to get punished for moving forward a little bit. His Oracle's going to come back. Obviously, you cannot afford to have your third Nexus cancelled. Oh, you can probably afford it, given the way this game has gone, but you really don't want to have it cancelled. That just causes issues for no reason. These Adepts are going to commit, guys. I think there's definitely potential for damage, considering the Lings are all across the map. So these Adepts will start to work their way through some drones, and Classic just going to keep himself in a worker lead as he gets 5, and he has potential for 6 if he just runs around the other side of the pool. The one low HP drone ran away, so the opportunity was lost. Lings back across the map, going to kill a pylon. That's something. The double Oracle flies through the queens. There's no... Oh, there's one queen on the natural. This was messy from Classic. You know, if he didn't fly through all these queens in the main initially, I mean, how do you end up taking so much damage on 2 oracles there when the queens are all out of position? Yeah, I mean, if he just went straight into the natural, 1 queen would have barely done anything, and he would have had even more workers because he could have stuck around that much longer. Now the Link counterattack's actually causing Classic issues as well, because he's had to rebuild, you know, Adepts repeatedly, and he's used a lot of Adepts initially as well, and his oracles are all across the map. So Classic, for all the harass he did, was it worth it for the damage he took back on his 3rd base? Definitely a little bit tough. Definitely a little bit awkward. 9 drones for 1 Oracle is still great. But it wasn't for 1 Oracle, right? It was for 4 Adepts as well, and the 2nd Oracle is super low. Like, don't get me wrong, like, I think that, like, the 4 Adepts, the 5 drones initially was fine. It was, you know what, it's probably not bad, it's just, it could have been better. Like, it was no need for that Oracle to die, it just took so much damage for free, right? I guess that's my argument. As we do have our Stalker's gonna pick off the Overlord. I'm just going to be seeing our Observer about to pop, Blink coming through from Classic, all of this continuing to establish right now. +1 attack upgrade is still coming on into play. And we do have our 6 additional Lings continuing through, a couple of new Overlords as well. All of that continuing to get established here. As an Oracle drops down another Revelation, hitting an Overlord, hitting a couple of Creep Tumors. And we pick away at a little bit more of that Creep Spread with that Oracle once again. Oracle comes through, the couple of Adepts will come in underneath this Oracle as well, so start to move on forward. Infestation Pit, our Balin Nest continuing to build as well, so all of this coming by. 20 Zerglings in production here. And just going to be seeing the Queens coming by to try and hit this Oracle down, trying to grab that kill. Well, Reynor's already starting up the Hive tech here. We saw him earlier go into a fast Hive. Try to get Lurkers up at one point as well in the Nice series, right? He didn't actually go to Lurkers until much later. His attempted run by, stopped by the Warlock. The Lings will hit the Zealot, now the Stalker. Defense is good, and at the same time you try and dart in with the Lings on the right side. That's just how annoying Reynor can be. He can really try and test you in every way when it comes to defending. Really making sure your defense is on point as much as possible, because yeah, if you don't sit on point with your defense, you will be punished. Reynor is exactly the kind of guy to do just that. Here comes this Stalker Sentry Adept Force, already beginning to move forward here and coming out onto the map. Just going to be getting rid of a couple of Creep Tumors, just going to head up the right-hand side. And what we're going to do now, some Force Fields going down. We knock down a Baneling to begin with. There's Banes that can maybe reach these Sentries. The Sentries start to split, but a little bit too late. Now it's just going to be Stalkers, but I mean, I guess the good news is the Sentries had already used their energy for the most part. This is going to be a question of, does Reynor have enough to defend this? He's going to be mostly on Zerglings against these Stalkers that are already using their Blink. That Oracle activates. I mean, imagine you had a second Oracle here for some extra damage output. It doesn't have much energy, so the Oracle doesn't last very long. We're warping in some Zealots, realizing we just need some extra help. We do not kill the Prism before the Zealots get here. The Prism will go down now, though. That's obviously a big shame for Classic, because he has the potential to, if he continues to warp in, potentially just break through for the game. Continue to fight here. Guys, I gotta be right back real quick. Sorry. Fucking, why would you deliver a parcel in the middle of the sickest part of the game? People have no respect. Charge and armor upgrade continuing through. Sorry, guys. As we have our Ultra's Cavern coming in behind the main base hatchery. Continue to produce. And yeah, sorry guys. I mean, just horrible time I had to leave. I assumed Classic just kind of backed it up. He had no way to reinforce. It's kind of time for him to just back it up in general. I'm worried for him though, because obviously Reynor has access to the Hive. Ultras are coming through, the Kindness playing. +2 melee, +1 carapace. All of this getting set up at the moment. Things crash in, a few probes get picked off. Just going to be seeing our Oracle back around the right side. Reynor getting rid of some probes. Definitely put him on the right track. He has the Lings try and break in the front. Stalker and Immortal there will defend. We're building Colossi. Oh, God. Building Colossi, guys. Is that good? I'm not quite sure. As just going to go and try and grab this hatchery, looking for this kill. The Ling's coming across to deny it. Obviously, it's not going to be a kill. I feel like Reynor was maxed out. Hive tech. Yeah, he's building ultras, but, you know, I kind of believe in the choice of ultras as well, so seems pretty reasonable right now. Those veins running through. That Colossus, man, is just going to die immediately out on its own. Here come the ultras as well as Reynor looking to make this big push. We have one Immortal here. That's the only real good damage you have against these ultras. The Stalkers can be decent, and the Sim City might help. Good warping off on the side. The Colossus showing up. A few Lings get on the Colossus again. That's actually not enough Lings this time. I mean, this entire mineral line's going down. GG is called, and Reynor's going to tie this series up 1-1 in the best of 3, guys. We're going to one final map, and we are going to go right into it as well. All right, first I have to run out. Our blue Protoss player is going to be Classic. On the top right, our red Zerg looking to not get adepted here. Reynor. Good map. Get this going. See how it all closes out. Final map of the day. Winner of this map goes to the quarterfinals, which are, of course, played tomorrow. Rope continues to shift itself across to the other side. Away it goes. And it's going to be Sinai Gateway on the way down. Rise of Kingdoms is going to ding at us. Guys, it's not a best of 5. As previously explained, it's best of 3 because one of the players asked for a best of 3. The other player agreed. And for me, it also benefits me being a best of 3 because, as I'm saying, I literally have to go. Because I have... Well, because this group is basically ran long, so... Yeah. Patch, gas pool all the way up, pretty standard so far. We're really looking to see if Classic's going to diverge from the Stargate here. That's going to be our big question mark in the next few minutes. Oh my god, that's a ton of people hitting level 5 on Rise of Kingdoms. Thank you so much. We done? That was like 4 people in one. That's the biggest set of them we've had. Thanks so much, guys. Appreciate it. We do have the Nexus then coming up. The Cybercore coming down the front. The drones mining in the main base. And getting this underway. And like I say, really waiting for the Twilight Council to show us the way. Drone nibbles. Probe takes damage. I'm just going to see the drones just going to be able to chase the probe out of here for a moment or two. So just going to push that away. Chase that down for now. A couple of queens still coming out. A few Lings on the way up. A couple of extra drones also producing here as our robotics facility comes down from Classic. So just gets that established. The 2 Lings will go after the probe. Classic open straight robo facility. That's a different one. So probe comes up this ramp. Probe's just getting chrono boosted away. The one adept is going to go shading forward already. I'm just going to be seeing it down at that bottom side. Again, link speed coming through, the Robo Bay getting set. And just going to be seeing the Warp Prism coming through as well right now. So again, that Prism up and running, Warp Gates. And with the Robo Bay, we're just really going to mix it up. Maybe a bit of a Disruptor drop here to start things out. Twilight Council producing, as that's obviously a natural follow-up here as well. Unless we were going to do some kind of really hard commitment to the to the all-in. And he could go Twilight into like charge and then like something like a 2 Disruptor, 1 Colossus all-in as well. Let's see. As right now, obviously our Prism's about to finish. Our Rubber Bay finishes. Time to build the Disruptor. Time to build the Prism speed. Time to get all of that started up. Meanwhile, Roachron begins from Reynor, so he begins his preparation here. And we'll just be having our couple of queens moving out for the moment. So a couple of queens, the few Zerglings. Again, Disruptor and Charge all continue to set up right now. It's going to see that Overlord popping out, and the Stalker is just going to be nabbing this Overlord. So let's looking to hit this. OV is going to drop. And there's the extra gateway, so it's just going to be a full-on charge all-in on the back side of this. Classic getting completely set up to be aggressive right now. So here we go, getting this ready, getting this going. Well, let's see what Reynor's preparation will be. Obviously, you want the Disruptor to try and do some good initial damage, right? The Disruptor can do well initially, then you can already kind of really swarm with the Zealots afterward. As the first Roaches do begin to produce. This is oftentimes a question of just having the right amount of units at the right time here from Reynor. Let's see, here we go, Prism. Looking for that first Disruptor shot, guys. See, Classic trying to show the idea of maybe a third base. Disruptor is going to go for the drones. Gonna get 2. Maybe could have had 5 with a slight reposition, but I don't think we can complain about that right now. And there's these Lings over on the other side. It's going to be... And you see the Zealots, which is already a bit of a question mark, right? Although Reynor is starting up a ton of drones. Are you not worried about the fact that you see Zealots? Are you not worried about what this follow-up is? Classic starts the Nexus. He's on 6 gateways. 8 gateways, guys. The 7th and 8th just need to warp into Warp Gate still. Don't lose the Prism, though, Classic. Gonna hit the Queens here. Obviously, that's not a kill, but it's enough to, well, I guess slow the Queens. It doesn't really slow the Queens down at all. Just, game survives for the moment. The game goes on. The game lives. As Zealots will move up the left-hand side, adept in that army. I'm just going to be having Classic. He has no intentions of using this third base. He is moving across the map. Reynor is doing nothing but droning, guys. I actually am very worried for Reynor. He is completely convinced that this Prism is the only thing he needs to be worried about. And that could be nothing but further from the truth, as all these Zealots are going to strike the third or the natural. Take your pick. And now Reynor has 8 more Roaches on the way. He has a little wall off at the front here. That's a cute start. I mean, that helps. As Classic has to back it up. Now he's got to decide where he wants to warp in the Zealots. He's going to start looking for an attack towards the third. We're going to wall off over here. That's not a complete wall, though, so some Zealots get by. Going towards these Queens. Roaches start to move on over. Can Reynor really get enough units out here off of 64 drones? It's a lot of drones to have in this situation. A lot of Queens dying. Classic needs to overwhelm with these Zealots. He needs very good surrounds. He has got the Disruptor, of course, to maybe hit big, and he does find some Queens and Roaches with the Disruptor shot. Wants to keep that alive for later as well, as Classic still has work to do. He still has plenty of Roaches to eat through here, and he needs more and more Zealot warpins. He cannot let Queens get close to this Prism either. He cannot afford for this Prism to fall. Does he have enough? He's got the new Disruptor shot ready soon. It'll be off cooldown again any moment now. This Disruptor loads back in the Prism, though, and now might just be a little bit too close to those Roaches. He's going to bait the Roaches forward with the Disruptor dropping down. He needs to bring the Prism away because he needs the Disruptor shot. He's just not had it for so long. Now the Prism is going to sit in the corner. Is the Disruptor far enough away from the Roaches? It fires, it will miss. Well, Reynor turns back into it. He's going to try and warp Zealots into the main and take everything into the main base, apparently. He needs some more Zealot warpins, but I think Reynor has had the hold here. The positioning was good enough for him. The idea from Classic was brilliant. Unfortunately, it's just not going to be enough in the very end. A few additional Stalkers coming through. A Disruptor coming up. A Blink coming in. And this guy looks as though Classic, as he nearly loses the Prism here. Do we have a Queen on the natural? We do not. Otherwise, that absolutely would have been game. It looks as though Reynor is going to have this one in the bag. This was very committed from Classic. You're so far behind on tech. I mean, he's going to be able to build Disruptors, which makes it awkward for Reynor. Does Reynor have a Bane Nest? No, I wouldn't mind seeing a Baneling Nest here, I think, is one thing which would be very good, because obviously you know your opponent already has charge, and there's likely to be a heavy reliance on those charge lots for a while. Lings coming around. Zealots, Stalkers, Sentries continue to get set up. Everything joining together on the low ground, and again the Prism around the top as a fourth hatchery goes down. Extra few Zealots warping in an attempt to go after this hatch, so at least we're going to cancel the fourth. Again, Reynor just getting the upgrades, getting the Baneling Nest. Classic's still pretty committed as he gets to Blink, right? Because he's still... Ooh, that's a... Wow, the Roach just dodged last second. This is one of the... You know, it's one of those moments where maybe Classic has one more effort, right? And it could be enough. He's still all in. There's no upgrades for him. There's not really, like, as many probes as he probably could have built. You know, he could have a lot more. He could have more gas. But maybe there's still an opportunity here from Classic. I mean, look at the supplies. He has a lot more army supply. Right? You know, if he eats this, Disruptor Shot would have been in really bad shape. But the Disruptor Shot does not go off. Let's see what the next two Disruptors can do. This is going to be very important. Can the Disruptors zone these Banelings out a bit? You kind of need to get rid of a lot of these Banelings before the Zealots get involved. A couple Force Fields to buy you some time. Honestly, did pretty well against the Banes. The last couple of Banes actually get a lot done. Classic has a lot of Stalkers here. The Blink is finished. The Zealots and the Stalkers and the Sentries are having to pull away. A few more Stalkers warping in right now. And just going to be seeing the extra few Zealots coming back in on the side as well. Classic with an army ready to push. Stalkers will go after these Overlords. We blink across. These drones in trouble. Disruptor Shot will not land on these Queens. Okay, army supplies are dead even right now. Stalkers have their blink, but Reynor's getting upgrades. Melee upgrade done. Carapace is not far. Baneling speed coming up, although he doesn't have any Banelings right now. And some Zealots getting in the front to tank. Oh, he's stuck on a Stalker. These Zealots need to get through. They need to be in the front lines. The Disruptors getting very close. That can obviously be very good for good shots. He gets himself a Ravager. Reynor's supply is plummeting. Well, maybe not plummeting. It's dropping slightly, though. Plummeting might be a little bit of an exasperation. The Prism goes down with both of the Disruptors inside. Stalkers blink forward as Classic suddenly can't reinforce. Now or never, making the play for these Ravagers, trying to get them. Drones are pulled, but Ling reinforcements are going to end up clearing this out. We have to recall from Classic, and Reynor gets the Corrosive Biles to hold this attack. With a Prism and reinforcements, this would be done and dusted. Instead, Classic is forced to recall, and this game goes on. Somehow, some way, this game will not end right there. Wow. That is actually ridiculous. I actually thought Reynor was broken, as now he's got a... Well, I mean, we've got so much going on here, so much to kind of comprehend, right? Dark Shrine is on the way up. We've got this Nexus coming through, this Disruptor still producing. Few Lings just coming back across. 18 Lings making their way back. A couple of Zealots coming through the front. Just going to be seeing the Lings get in there for the wrap around. The couple of Zealots going down. Prism still just up overhead. As we are going to be seeing the couple of drones still coming through. The extra Lings coming along. The Dark Shrine, like I say, coming up. The Forge is building. A lot happening right here. Is the game going to slow down a little bit? I mean, Reynor's made a bunch of units. Is he going to get aggressive? Is he waiting for Classic to fight again? You can see the DET warping over here gets cancelled up. We scrap that plan. And just warp in a couple more. Maybe he didn't want all four. Maybe he just wants enough to go on the Prism. And now he decides to add extras. Now he decides to add extras. Of course he does. Well, Infestation Pit is still on the way up. So we'll begin to unload. Spore Crawler firing a couple of shots onto that Spore. The units there are going to do decently. There's no detection in this natural. Do we have an Overseer on the map? We do. Where's the Overseer? Over on the front of this army. We're going to need more of those. There's one DT currently not being dealt with. No Spore in the main base either. So again, DTs will have a bit of a riot at the moment. It's Classic. I feel like this is maybe going on a bit too long, though, with Classic not having the right sort of army here. Couple Zards come down. The Lings, the Banes all continue to join together. Ten drones go down. I mean, it's good damage. I mean, Classic's on a worker lead. Reynor obviously can rebuild the worker count a little bit, though, as Classic tries to get to the 5th base in the bottom side. Taking down the rocks. Looks like Reynor, I mean, he's getting a hive as well, so he doesn't have to be overly aggressive here. He is still tacking up. He is still planning for some part of the future in this game. How this game has gone on. I feel like this game realized, hey, these guys were like, hey, Wardy has to go right now. Let's make sure this game goes on as long as possible. Not complaining, it's great, although I will be a bit rushed on the ending here, guys. Is this going to be Reynor actually going to catch? The Disruptors have missed everything so far. The one Disruptor that actually would have fired gets cancelled by the recall. Now these two Disruptors die. I mean, Classic is just doing, you know, crisis management course there, but was that really ideal? Because he actually lost two Disruptors. I mean, he probably would have lost everything if not, but I mean, you're seeing the effect of the upgrades as well. 2-1 against Noah. Well, just now +1 attack finish from Classic. That obviously makes a lot of these fights very difficult to commit to. The High Templars will become Archons. Our Disruptor coming up. Getting all of that set. Few Banes are going to come straight through into this mineral line, busting through a bunch of workers here. Disruptor shot fires onto a few Lings. Disruptor shot going to try and find the Ling Bane over here. This is a lot of surrounding being done. He finds a good amount of Banelings there as the Lings getting rid of the Archons before the Archons can do enough, and Classic's army is gone. Reynor is going to overwhelm, and I think that was the issue we're pretty much always running into here. As this bottom right base will be going down. Classic supply is just not there. He's getting some damage across the map, but I just don't think that will ever be enough. And Reynor takes down this bottom right base, takes down a lot of army in doing so, and as Classic warps in offensively, I think Reynor can probably continue the aggression, because now he knows he's not warping into units defensively. So what's going to stop him from hitting the next base along? There's nothing here! Absolutely nothing. And Classic just loses more and more. This hatchery on the right side goes down, so the DTs do get some good work done. That's the one thing Reynor is just still having to deal with, but that's pretty much the only hope that Classic has. He put up a hell of a fight today. 2-1 Reynor initially, 2-3 loss against Clem, and was maybe in game-winning position until the Disruptors died in the Prism to the Corrosive Biles. Classic lost another base, and the question is, does he have any units still actually to defend with? He's got a Disruptor here that's going to fire for the triple Ravager kill. That might be the best moment he has in this game. From this point on, the Prism still trying to do something on the other side. That's going to be seeing our Stalkers surrounded here. I mean, unit after unit just going down. Reynor's finally going to give up the aggression. 58 supply to 159. Guys, once again, as this game wraps up, I have to go immediately. I have to turn my stream off. My stream will be right back on. We're going to be swapping over to Crossfire Legion, as we're going to be doing the Crossfire Legion launch event. So I'm just setting up for that because I literally have to go 9 minutes ago. So it's going to be an instant leave for me. So as Reynor comes through and wins this out, he will advance to the quarterfinals. The matches will be up on Liquipedia later today.